Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of The League on AFTERBUZZ TV, episode 8.
Ocho.
Season 6.
How do you say 8 in Hebrew?
Oh, you cry.
Oh.
Wait. Shmone.
Shmone. Episode
Wait,
Shmone.
that could also be a letter. Unclear. Could have been the alphabet I just did.
What's your name?
Nope, that was numbers. Numbers.
Well, what is your name?
In Hebrew?
No. I don't think
in real life? Yeah. Oh, Jenifer Golden. Hi, guys. And this is George Hermoza. And this is season 6, episode 8, as I said, Manland. And this was not my favorite episode.
Really? Yeah, it was a little different dynamic in terms of anytime you kind of bring in an outsider. In this episode, Corbin Burnson.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't in. No. What was he in?
Ooh.
One of those shows back in the day, like.
He was also in not A League of Their Own, but that other one, Wild. No,
he was in a Major League.
Major League. I was going to say Wild Thing, but that's what they called Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yes. Huh? Well, he was. I think his character was interesting.
He was Jenny's dad.
Yeah, it just seemed like somebody else wrote this episode.
Now that you mention it, I'm kind of curious who wrote it.
It was different.
If it was a typical writer or not.
Right. There was a lot of potty humor. There was a lot of I didn't
notice that. Yeah, a lot of kind of going back to last week. They kind of continued the storyline. In the beginning, you had Pete change his name to the Shitheads.
Yeah.
Their words, not mine. Just because essentially from last episode, you had Kevin with the bag of Jenny's shit. And it kind of leaked on his head, so essentially they took offense to that name, even though it really is, he was a shithead.
Yeah, and so Pete renamed his team that, and, it continued throughout the episode where he kept calling Kevin and Jenny shitheads. Which was, the whole episode ended up being about it again because Rafi appears later and keeps talking about it. But
Ruxin is back too.
Ruxin is back.
Finally.
Amy
Poehler finally let him go.
Apparently. Lauren Lianelli is not here tonight, as everyone can see or hear that she is not here, unless we're hiding her. But I feel like she'd be excited that Ruxin was back, but not thrilled with the episode as well.
It was different.
And I really like, when it's consistent and the jokes are consistent. They had some of the same jokes. Like, they talked a lot about their boners, and they always talk about, fear boners and, things like that. But, I don't know. The tone was just a little bit cheesier and different, and I don't know. Yeah,
it's one of those things where you got a typical comedic rule of 3. I think they did go a little too much with the poop humor.
Right.
And it was still funny. There was some parts where I kind of laughed, but that was more so when they didn't go there. When you early in the episode when you had Jenny's dad, Bruce Banger. We find out that Jenny's maiden name is Banger.
Right.
So Jenny Banger.
Great name.
When the dad was asking Kevin, what can you do? Can you do anything manly? And you had typical Kevin, I can fix the Wi-Fi. I know how to fix the Wi-Fi.
I love that. And he was really serious about it. He's like, who do you think unplugs it every month?
And then you wait 10 seconds and you plug it back in. That's the kind of part that I laughed at because I thought that was typical Kevin, typical, that's Kevin.
Right. And so I guess Bruce Banger always makes Kevin feel emasculated or tries to emasculate him in his own home. So Kevin's not thrilled with him.
Is that maybe just a typical characteristic in a father-in-law?
No, this particular father-in-law was really supremely macho and trying to prove it, especially with this Manland. He doesn't just call it a place to camp. He really goes out of his way to push the man stuff and calls Kevin a ninny.
Yeah.
Poor Kevin has so many names. Ninny, shithead, Brian.
We'll go into that later.
Yeah.
Because that's just something that's always been happening where Rafi calls him Brian.
Right.
Calls Brian, tall guy. I think it calls Taco, but Brian and tall guy are the two names that he gives it to
What is he called?
idea.
Ruxin.
I think you just call him Ronnie or Ruxin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess they're brother-in-law, so he calls him his name.
Yeah.
But I think we need to talk about Andre and Russell.
I like Russell.
I like Russell,
The
too. I
sex
think he's a
addict.
good addiction.
Oh, wow.
He's a good, that was a Freudian slip, addition to the team, to the gang. So they are at the regular bar that they go to. What's that place called again?
Shoot.
We see it every week. Of course,
It's like it's one of those things where I can picture it.
Right.
Same way
The
you
sign.
can, but I just can't remember what the name of it is.
Well, anyway, so they're all there talking about, the week and the lineup and the fact that Bruce Banger's coming to town and the whole thing. And so Andre goes to get another round of beverages for everyone. And he and Russell bond over the fact that the bartender didn't know what the wine was called.
Cabernet Sauvignon?
No, they called it Cabriolet Sauvignon,
Yeah.
which is a car Sauvignon, which doesn't make any sense. It was Cabernet Sauvignon. But they bond over their love of wine and their snootiness about the whole thing. Yet they get kicked out of the bar and decide they're going to start their own wine bar. What do you think about them going to business together?
I think it was interesting. It's funny because even though they never really made it clear, you kind of saw it where you think that, well, Andre is probably going to be put in all the money.
Right.
And you have Russell still that outsider, but he's still kind of with the group. I was like, oh, God, I know this is going to end somehow bad, but it didn't. We'll get into that later, but it kind of maybe foreshadowing of future events of just how their partnership's going to be. But have you ever been to a wine bar?
Yeah.
How do you like it?
Wine bars in general?
In general?
I love them.
Really?
I think they're great. I think, yeah.
Would you go to Andre and Russell's? Well, no, hold on. What was it called?
Menage a Cinq.
Not a menage a trois, but a menage a cinq.
Right. So there's five, like the 5 grapes of Bordeaux, which is so random and so them.
Like they said, nothing like a 5-way.
Exactly. And
I
then,
wouldn't know.
No, and then, of course, Russell knows exactly how many holes that is. So 14, in case you were wondering. But yeah, so they decide to go into business. But Andre has some reservations because of a little bit of treatments that Russell gives to him during the fantasy stuff.
He's kind of trash talking him on the boards, but that if me personally, I know this for a fact too. It's like what's on the board stays on the board. You don't let that leak into your real life situation. So you can say a lot of things in the fantasy life that you can't leak onto the real life. So
right.
I get where Russell's coming from. It's just typical, trash talking.
Right.
Andre's kind of being a little sensitive about it.
Which
I don't know why.
I feel like, again, to the respective, a different writer. We have to find out if there was a different writer for this episode because Andre never emotes. So, he takes a lot of crap from these guys and never is he like, oh, well, I just think that was disrespectful.
Yeah. Jenny's
what?
been just as bad.
They all have.
Yeah, and I remember going back to the first season, they're just brutalizing on each other.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I love the show.
Same. And I was just a little strange that he actually, verbalized his feelings and got emotional. But so he questions whether, Russell really is a good business partner because if he treats him that way, then, and Russell's like, no, it's just fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy. Real life. Exactly.
And Jenny even says,
are you really the owner of an NFL team? No, you're a fantasy.
He's quite right about that point. But yeah, so Jenny ends up showing them some space while all the other guys are away.
In Manland.
They're in Manland hunting or whatever they're doing, camping. And so she shows them some space. We aren't sure if she can do commercial because she normally does residential real estate. But hey, she showed them a wine bar.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe residential can lead, maybe just like an extra class
Or maybe in Chicago.
an extra hour of training and you can now sell bars.
Maybe she does it. So
Exactly.
who knows? Someone's got to pay the bills over there. We don't see Kevin lawyering much lately.
That is true.
So they like this wine bar. They decide to get it. Andre and Jenny then end up hanging out and having girl talk over wine.
As he would say, Andre's like, we haven't had girl talk in a while.
He's so weird.
Yeah, dude, that's Andre for you.
I know. So he wants to thank Jenny for finding the space, and they're just talking and stuff. And he's like, well, what about, the stuff that's going on with Russell? And should I take this trade he just offered me? And she, of course, said yes, because it would,
shut him up.
And also, then, if it was a bad trade, she's not going to help him pick a good trade.
Yeah, pretty much.
she's competing
I just
against
like
him.
the fact that they were bonding, and of course he was getting all sensitive. He's like, "Why am I going to go into business?"
He's so weird.
And you have Jenny's like, "Dude, I verbally sodomize Kevin all the time. I don't really do it." Then you have Andrea's like, "Are you sure?
You could if you maybe you should try it."
We guys like it." I thought that part was funny, but again, that goes back to that humor that we all like.
Right.
Typical Andre kind of like going there.
Right. And he does always go there, and it's always like do you realize how you look when you say these things? But he doesn't, and he just goes there freely. And his poor cat, is at the cat spa.
Milady.
Because she's real upset about this whole prank that was pulled.
Oh, Milady.
I
mean, and Andre was mentioning that I think the Milady's mad at Andre because I guess he installed a webcam at the spa and purposely avoiding the webcams. That way, Milady won't have to look at Andre, or I'm sorry, vice versa.
Yep. Wonder if Milady will ever be back.
I don't know.
I don't know either, because Milady has a tattoo, like a for real tattoo. But maybe if her hair grows back, it'll cover it. Who knows?
I know Lauren would like her back.
Definitely.
She's a cat lady.
Oh.
I just what I heard.
And you saw her behavior when she saw.
Yeah, I was there.
What's it called? Lil Bub.
I don't know. Are you a cat person?
I love cats, but I love a lot of things, and it's a regular love. It's not like a heightened love.
Okay, like you love me.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just a regular love.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, thanks. So anyway, that sort of wraps up that storyline, I suppose.
Back to Manland. Rafi sighting.
Well, so the reason they go to Manland in the first place is because Bruce Banger makes fun of Kevin so much, and he's like, "I'm going to prove to you I'm a man," and he's like, "But how?" And so he said, "Well, you guys should all come to camping with me." So everybody but Andre and Russell go.
Yeah, so it's Taco, Ruxin, Pete, and Kevin. And
then we find out Rafi's there.
Rafi, I think said he was tracking Kevin, or Brian as he calls him.
Exactly. And so they, they're there and they're all freaking out because there's no Wi-Fi and cell reception, and they all have to like set their lineup and do that whole thing. So we also find out Ruxin was a Boy Scout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he got his merit badges.
Yeah.
Hopefully. He says he did, so of course everybody's making fun of him. Oh, are you sure about that?
Right, they're like, you don't have any characteristics of a Boy Scout.
Pretty much.
And of course, Bruce calls him a Girl Scout.
Yeah. But I mean, it goes back to kind of like a real life scenario. In real life, in the NFL, there's a team called the Washington Redskins.
Right.
Where a lot of people are saying they should change the name. It's offensive to Native Americans. Right. And that kind of leaks into this episode because
the guys then go to a bar because Bruce is like, all right, enough of your bitching. I'll take you to a bar. You'll have Wi-Fi. You'll do your lineup and be done with it. So they all go to this bar, and I guess the bar is full of Native Americans who hear that was a weird whistle. Kevin and Pete talking about their team names and stuff.
The shitheads.
Right. So, Pete is like, I think the shitheads and the Redskins are equal. And like, the names are basically the same. And the Native Americans hear that and they're like, what are you calling us? You're calling us a shithead.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they weren't talking about that at all, and then an almost fight ensues.
I just like that when Taco came in, I was like, no, relax. Here, even on our trophy, there's a little Indian girl that we all get to have our way with on the trophy. And of course,
I keep mine hidden.
Yeah, I thought that part was funny.
It was funny, and of course, everyone got them into more trouble, and so. One of the Native Americans pulls out a knife, and then Bruce had a gun.
Yeah, Bruce had a gun.
So he shot the ceiling to distract them, and they ran. And then they didn't know where they were. So they were just like lost in the forest somewhere.
You did point it out, and I did like the part where they're all surrounding, they're all in a circle.
Yeah.
And you had the iPad with a screensaver as a fireplace.
Right.
And then they were all like, oh, yeah. It's like, dude, it's just an iPad. But
right.
That's a cool little visual. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. And then, of course, they're all like, let's cuddle to stay warm. And then Rafi takes it that much further. Also, so we were talking about, like, poop jokes. He was talking about the, like, second harvest all episode long. And he kept eating poop. And, like, he had an obsession with finding bears and killing them. It was just sort of random. And just a lot of poop.
Yeah, like I said, going back to
and eating it.
Too much,
Ew.
Yeah. Well, that's Rafi, though.
Yeah, but then, like, Taco and, yeah, writers. What are you thinking?
I'm sorry, writers.
Weird eating poop jokes.
Everybody has their oops, I mean, everybody... There's always that one show. It's like, not every episode of Friends was like... they were all pretty good. But there's that one where it's like, yeah, I think I'll skip it. This might be that one.
Yeah, this a good one.
Just
for
too many
Lauren
poop
in
jokes.
this.
Just too many.
It was like not even so much. Well, last week it was like on their faces, and that was gross. This week they were eating it. Like I don't know where. I think I drew the line last week.
It's one of those things where last week you can at least argue for the fact that it's relevant to the story, which made it funny. This week it was with all those little second harvests.
Yeah,
it can be argued that wasn't necessary.
Right.
It would have not have made a difference for toward the show.
Right.
Toward the humor of the show.
It could have been out and no one would have noticed.
Exactly. At least last week it was kind of like with Jerry
the storyline.
Yeah, exactly. But,
yeah. So they all go to sleep, I guess, and Rafi offers to cuddle with Brian, and says, "Take off your pants and let's spoon," or whatever. I was like,
sounds about right.
Yeah, and that was when he was calling them like the tall guy and Brian.
Yeah, and I guess
they had a lover's quarrel, according to Bruce.
I like that when it goes back to the end of the episode where you had Kevin, of course, talk to Rafi, and he's like, "Well, he keeps emasculating me," and of course you have Rafi come, find your inner Brian.
Yeah.
You got to find your inner Brian.
Right, and so he does. Because a bear appears out of nowhere when the guys are like ready to leave in the morning, and poor Pete is tied up because
Ruxin was making fun of him. So they go, "Oh, cool. Yeah, it looks like I got my tying badge, huh?"
Yeah, he can tie a knot, but he cannot untie a knot apparently.
Well,
which was a joke.
Yeah, I thought that part was funny. I was like, "Whoa, I didn't get my badge in untying."
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good joke.
I wrote that down.
Was that your favorite line?
No, the going back to earlier, it was the whole when they go to that bar and then you had that Indian dude just kind of singing, and you had Taco say, "Dude, do you have any Ace of Base?" I thought that part was funny because I love Ace of Base.
I do too. Good bringing that back. Yeah, so this bear appears out of nowhere, and nobody knows what to do to stop it, and they're freaking out.
Kevin was nowhere to be found, too, because they all wake up, and it's like, "Dude, where's Kevin?"
Well, then he appears. His shirt is all, like, tattered and ripped, and he goes crazy on this bear, which then, in turn, sends the bear away, because, he's scary at this point, going, like, crazy. So he saves the day. Bruce then respects him, says some cheesy stuff, and, like, accepts him, and,
Pretty much, yeah.
And he found his inner Brian, and then they get home.
Well, they were lost first.
Oh, yeah, they were lost, and he figured out.
Yeah, because going back to earlier in the episode, you had Taco always just dump change everywhere because he said that because pennies are going to get obsolete at some point. It's like, well, might as well just make nickels and dimes and quarters obsolete because I don't want to be behind when they do become.
Right, so he's throwing them away now.
Yeah, so pretty much when they were all lost in the forest, it's like he kept throwing change and then kind of just follow the change back.
Right, which was Kevin's idea because Kevin is a regular Boy Scout, it seems.
But then they find a car full of Native Americans again.
The same ones.
Yeah.
And their deal was they'll give them a ride back, which I'm still not sure where their car went. I guess they slept somewhere that was not near their car.
Probably, that makes sense.
But these guys took them back to the car, and then they drove back.
That sounds about right, yeah. But under the condition that all those guys would have to drop all their Washington Redskin players that they have on their fantasy league. And, of course, Andre's like, "Whoa, where are all these people coming from?" Right when he's about to sign the contract with Russell.
Right, because the guy that Russell traded him was a guy that continues to get hurt. And so...
I had him on my fantasy league.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
He got hurt.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Maybe you should take on a Washington Redskin.
Yeah, but then again, Andre got a little mad because he's like, "Well, what are you doing trading me a guy? Now, how am I supposed to go into business with you?"
Right, how can he trust him when he's giving him bad trades? He's like, well, it's competition. When you're working together, you're working
Pretty
together.
Much, yeah.
But anyway, so then he gets a trade, is fine with the deal because at this point he doesn't care. He's happy in Fantasyland.
Yeah, because he started picking up all those players that got dropped from the Redskins that he didn't have to drop because he didn't get picked up by the Native Americans.
Exactly. So Andre wins. The guys get back. Kevin and Bruce are buddies now. Brings them to Jenny. He's all excited to see Jenny. He picks Jenny up and is like exercising his like manliness. And then she's like, "Where'd this come from?"
I just like that. He's just kind of like, "I'm Brian."
Right. He's like, "Who's this?" He's like, "I'm Brian." So great.
But you gotta do it like him though. You gotta turn around and goes, "I'm Brian."
I'm Brian. I don't think it works as well for me.
Oh yeah. Well, you can say then Corbin Benton had "There goes my little banger," and then end credits.
End credits. I was okay when this episode ended.
Yeah, it was okay. I honestly, I liked it when they were back from the forest, because I feel like kind of when they were in the forest, that kind of where it got a little all over the place.
Yeah.
Like the inmates are running the asylum, like it's just a free for all, you know?
Right.
So I kind of liked it when they got back, but yeah.
You know what? On this episode, they finally brought up the Laguna house again.
Oh, that's true.
This was like the first time all season since, what was his name? Ted? Ted died. When they were all saying they were going to die or whatever, that they were going to lose the Laguna house.
Yeah, I totally forgot about too. A nice little, cute little reminder.
Mm-hmm. At least that, that's a good segue into predictions, I think.
Although I'm. Oh, okay. Just checking.
That's it.
I'm a little upset.
Your AfterBuzz TV
Prediction. I'm a little upset because our prediction from last week did not come true.
Which was what?
Pete was going to have another girlfriend.
You're right. Well, I think this whole episode got thrown for a loop.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I think that we've been talking about, like, we're getting closer to the end of the season. So we're going to see some more, like, feistiness and finals and all that, what is it, playoffs or whatever that happens in football, and getting closer to the Laguna house.
I do think Pete's going to have another girlfriend next week.
Okay.
And I do think we're going to see something come between Andre and Russell.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling that partnership.
Maybe not even fantasy related.
Maybe it's going to be a girl. Well, can Russell even date anyone if he's a recovering sex addict?
Well, maybe he can just make love to the woman. I don't know.
I feel like that's under that same whole umbrella.
Hole.
Oh, you went there. You went there.
You're the one that said
Hermoza.
Russell was the one that brought it up.
Right.
Golden.
Exactly. Can't say my name that cool. It's like golden.
Golden.
Yeah. Golden.
Well, it's like Ari Gold, like he always said. Anyways, silence is golden, actually, in the movie theater.
It is, but not in my real life, though.
I'm saying
I can't be silent ever.
I love when you talk.
Thanks.
I really do.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do we have any more predictions? Or?
Like I said, I think it's going to be a rift, and then, what the other thing I said? Pete's going to have another girlfriend.
Yes, I second that, and I wonder if that cat's going to be back. If not, see him, milady.
I do think at some point throughout the season, I do think we're going to see an appearance, just one, from Trixie.
I don't know that she'll ever be back.
But I think she's going to make that appearance of she's going to be blind and then just something in regards to that.
Interesting. Maybe. I also hope that Kevin keeps up this manliness for a couple episodes.
Not Kevin, it's
Brian.
I'm Brian.
Exactly. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been a lovely night talking about the league, and can't wait for next week's episode. I hope it's better.
Where can I find you?
Oh, you can find me at Jen the Jew on Twitter, Instagram,
Done.
Vine. My
Not
website's
Vine.
Jenifer
I don't
Golden.
have you on Vine.
Well,
I
you
will
should
add you on
follow me,
Vine.
and you should follow Lauren and I on Two Drunk Girls. You guys too. And you can find me on Facebook, Jenifer Golden. And George, where can everyone find you?
Twitter, Instagram at GHERMOZA, G Hermoza. Can you say Hermoza?
Hermosa.
God, I love it when you say that. You look nice today, though. I like your shirt.
Well, thanks.
I complimented your hair.
I like
earlier.
your shirt.
Thank you. Oh, I wore the pink for the Breast Awareness Month.
That's lovely.
Remember?
Yes.
The league, Breast Awareness.
Mm-hmm. Breast awareness.
Yeah, you should wear pink next week. I'm going to wear pink next week.
I will do it.
Swear to God, I'm going to wear pink next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.